No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly, 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 boy. Yes, yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is? Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. Shout out to everybody that's subscribed. I'm on aim for 5,000 subscribers before the start of the Premier League season, which is my new target. I've never set a target, but it is my target. I think I'm about 120 off or something. So thank you for subscribing. It does help the channel grow ever so surely and slowly. I thought I'd do a quick shout out to Voldemort. I saw 6 players Leeds could sign, or six picks. Voldemort's 6 picks. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this. I've seen. I'll share it with you, to be fair, because I think this is possibly the best news article I've ever seen. So there we go. 10 players we could sign. Check this out. This is the madness of the internet, right? So Rafinha. So instantly you get there and there's quite a well-known footballer there, I'd say, you know, João Felix. So Rafinha quickly established himself. Yada, yada, yada. A video of Roy Keane moaning about something. Promoted sides have had a tough time of late, with the last 6 going straight back down. If Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United or Sunderland want to avoid the same fate, they need to sign João Felix. That's might as well be what this says. So Ryan Kirky from Lyon, reportedly wanted by Manchester United and Liverpool. Leeds will be doing very well to land this man that I can't pronounce in summer. But it's not entirely out of the question. Well, it is, isn't it? Because if Man United and Liverpool are actually in for him, it's not happening. So we carry on. Alan St. Maximin, who I actually like St. Maximin, to be fair. Thanks to his speed, tricks, and sheer confidence on the ball, Maximin might leave a bit to be desired in terms of his end product, but his technical ability. I mean, that's not, to be fair to that one's not a million miles away. But, you know, these players are meant to be in reference to Rafinha. You know, I think we can all agree that St. Maximin's not as good as Rafinha. Daniel Malen appears to have been on the wrong end of some broken promises after joining Aston Villa in January, only to see Marcus Rashford arrive. He won't want to bounce around clubs forever, but 2 Premier League starts and none in Europe is pretty miserable. Ladda. So, you know, they're sort of basing it on a little bit of life, little bit of possibility. Then, as anybody that watched the channel last year when we thought we were going up, or probably the year before, and even Football 365 have had to agree that this one is ridiculous. It's getting beyond a joke. Now Lang. I cannot believe how much I've said this bloke's name in the past few years. This guy seemed to be on the verge of joining Leeds every single transfer window they were in the Premier League. But for one reason or another, it never quite happened. Now closing in on another pointless title for PSV, helped along nicely by the remarkable Ajax bottle jobs. Lang might finally fancy testing himself in the Premier League, and given his history of those persistent links, Leeds would be the natural step. And then we just go into madness. João Felix, having cost Atletico Madrid over 100 million before being passed around Chelsea, Barcelona, and now AC Milan, the 45-cap Portugal international Felix might well turn his nose up to the move to Ellen Road. But let's be honest, he's hardly in a position to tell any Premier League he's too good for them. It's not a case, I know we're just having a bit of fun here and we will stop in a minute. It's not a case of him thinking he's too good for him. You'd have to argue if anybody's ever spent, you know, if you're a 45-cap Portuguese international like Felix, who, whether you like it or not, on his day, he's not signing for a newly promoted side, is he? You know, Felix market value has nosedived since falling out with Diego Simeone. I mean, they're still going to want ludicrous wages. He's just going to sit tight in it. It's crazy. Then we get on to Ansu Fati from Barcelona. Clearly in need of a fresh start and no real use to Barcelona beyond generating a transfer fee. Fati should move on this summer. Despite an underwhelming loan at Brighton, we reckon he could still do a job for a bottom-half Premier League side. It's crazy to me. You just don't know where they pluck them from. I just thought we'd have a bit of a laugh because I couldn't be bothered reading all these out. So I just thought we'd just get a bit of clickbait in title and sort of go from there with it. So what are your thoughts on that? It's a bit of fun, isn't it? bit of fun in it, bit of fun ting. And then we're going to share this. I want to talk about this. I was going to do this live, but I want to talk about the retained list because obviously it's come up to the end of the season officially now, more or less. So, leaving the club upon the expiration of his contract, Joshua Gilavogi departs with all our best wishes. The midfielder joined the club during the 2024-25 campaign and proved to be an important figure both on and off the pitch. It's just funny because like the articles, this is obviously Leeds United's article. This is leedsunited.com. So it's just interesting how they put that. You know, he's leaving the club on departs with all the best wishes. The title of some of the articles that I have to flick through is Gilavogi ready to quit Leeds. It's like, what are you talking about? Are you mad? It was never, you know, I mean, to be fair, like Andrea and stuff from Just Joshua wants him to sign on. I personally don't think, you know, we need too many cheerleaders. I think I definitely want a bit of experience in there. I spoke about Milner, and to be fair, Sam Byram, who it says here, still the club remains in discussions with first team players, Junior Firpo, which I'd give a contract to, and Sam Byram, who I would give a contract to. Gilavogi might be a wonderful bloke and a great cheerleader, but, you know, the risk of sounding like Roy Keane, what does he do? Card tricks or something. You want players that can feature. It's all right, Gilavogi being a great guy around place, but you don't want him to play even a minute in the Premier League. And I know everybody will give me pelters for suggesting that I want Sam Byram to play minutes in the Premier League. I don't want to be reliant on Sam Byram, but I don't think Sam Byram's going to let us down. I think if Gilavogi comes on, I think shit's going to hit the fan, to be honest. Returning to the parent club is Joe Rothwell and Manor Solomon. Obviously, that doesn't mean that we're not potentially going to sign him. I mean, I don't think we're going to sign Joe Rothwell at this point, but Manor Solomon, obviously, everybody's still hoping that we get, and I also hope that. As I say, remaining in discussion with Sam Byram and Junior Firpo. Academy players that have been offered new terms. James DeBayo, which I thought was an interesting one, because obviously we didn't get any minutes. You know, the people saying that he'd get moved on. They obviously still see something in him. Rory Mahandy, Coburn Bird, and Harvey Vincent, and then quite a few lads going out, which I always feel sorry for these lads. But onwards, and perhaps not upwards, boys, but onwards, move forwards. Harry Christie, Kian Coleman, Conor Ferguson, Max McFadden, Amari Miller, Chris Moore, Joe Richard, Joe Snowden, not the reporter, Luca Thomas, Dan Toulson. We would like to express our thanks to the players who leave the club in the coming weeks and wish them well in the future. Yes, indeed. The club released a statement on Ethan Ampadu the other day about the nonsense that was going on all over Twitter and the pile-on that occurred. So there's no need for me to mention that. I do want to mention Ferdinand, because I think there's been a uproar about Ferdinand and the fact he's a bell end, and he always has been a bell end. Honestly, I don't know whether Ferdinand's a tits. I don't know whether you just want to like leave it in there. The bloke's a tit. I don't even see him as a Leeds fan. I don't care if he's at Ellen Road for BT or whatever. I couldn't give a shit about him. I didn't give a shit about him the day he left Leeds United, and I thought it was a bit of a. It was just used as a stepping stone, and that's fine for what it is. You know, I don't listen to a word he says in his punditry. I think he's absolute whack. I think he's a shit job. And that's all I want to say about Rio Ferdinand. I think he's, with the greatest respect, brilliant footballer, but I think he's thick as mince. I think he's thick as shit. So I think that's as good a diss as I can come up with, really. I think the bloke's a dunce. There's been some talks of Callum Wilson, which I want to explore slightly. 33 years old. His contract's coming up at Newcastle. How is saying that Eddie Howe, not how, like as in how is Eddie Howe is saying that he's still in his plans and he'll extend his contract for another year. What are you saying on that? Would you? I also want to know, because Crystal Palace have just won fucking FA Cup and we're all right happy for him. Are you one of them guys that don't want us to have a cup run? I've just watched a load of grown men crying their eyes out. I wouldn't be crying. Would you be crying? Would you be crying? I actually want to know if you'd cry or not. We can't do a poll because I did plan on going live and I'm not live. Yeah. Would you cry? Are you going to admit it now, watching the Crystal Palace scenes at Wembley, that a cup run would be pretty mint? I want a cup run. Lego. Comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate every which one here. I am fine. Do not worry. We are back. This is not a media channel.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.